Welcome back, guys, to the MFL today, and it's the final regular season week in MFL history, and boy, do we have a week for y'all. But first, we enter this week. Oakwood is number 1 at 5-1. Creepton is number 2 at 5-2. Oakwood will have to play 2 games this week. Newman is 3rd at 5-3. They've finished with the regular season. As of right now, Emerald Hills is 4th at 3-4, followed by the Long Beach Rams at 3-4 and the Long Beach Raiders at 3-4, and then Crossington at 0-6. They play 2 games this week. So, we've already played the first 2 games. So we've already played, first off, Emerald Hills visits Krypton, and then the Long Beach Rams visit Oakwood. Oakwood also visits Crossington, and Crossington visits the Long Beach Raiders. So, first, you guys are going to at least get Emerald Hills and Krypton and Oakwood and Oakwood and Long Beach Rams tomorrow, Sunday. I'll get those times later. But the majority of the Krypton Emerald Hills game did not record. There was some disc failure, so I got the last 5 minutes of it. And so we go over it. And then Krypton and Long Beach Rams, it was a decently long game, so we actually paused in the middle of that game to play the Krypton and Emerald Hills game. So you'll see how that all ties together. Now, the Oakwood Long Beach game was also hit with that kind of disc failure. We should have the entire game. It's going to be uploaded in 3 parts. I can't edit the footage for whatever reason. It just won't load into iMovie or what I need. So I can't tie it all together. So it will be in 3 parts. But you guys will be able to see all 3 parts of that. And again, I'll get to the times later. But first, the big thing, the playoff scenarios. Again, I told you the games. Emerald Hills visits Krypton. Long Beach Rams visit Oakwood. Oakwood visits Crossington, and then Crossington visits the Long Beach Raiders. So here are the playoff scenarios. So they're as follows: Oakwood clinches the 1st seed overall. If they win both of their games, or Krypton loses to Emerald Hills. And disregard that even if Oakwood loses out, because that would form a 3-way tie, and I actually get the tie. So yeah, disregard that even if Oakwood loses out. Krypton clinches the 1 seed if they beat Emerald Hills and Oakwood loses one of their 2 games. Now that goes to the tiebreaker. Krypton has the tiebreaker over Oakwood, but Oakwood currently has a 1-game advantage. So that's how Krypton can clinch the 1 seed. Newman can clinch the 2 seed. Right now they're the 3rd seed. If Krypton loses and Oakwood wins at least one of their games, and if there's a 3-way tie, Oakwood loses both, Krypton loses to Emerald Hills. What happens? We have a 3-way tie at 5-3, and there's how the results would come out. Oakwood 1, Krypton 2, Newman 3rd. But those 3 teams have made the playoffs, so that doesn't matter. Here's what does matter: how these final 3 teams can clinch a playoff berth. Again, we have 3 teams battling for 1 spot. Emerald Hills clinches a playoff berth if they beat Krypton, or they lose and both Long Beach teams lose. Because they have the tiebreak in a 3-way tie, they have the tiebreaker over both Long Beach teams. So if they win, they would get in, because if it's a tie at 4-4, they would get in because the tiebreaker. Or if all 3 of them lose, Emerald Hills gets in because the tiebreaker. So again, the mission is simple for Emerald Hills. If you beat Krypton, you're in. But the Long Beach Raiders, Long Beach needs to beat Crossington, and both Long Beach Rams and Emerald Hills lose. They need both Long Beach Rams and Emerald Hills to lose and to beat Crossington, and the Long Beach Raiders get in. Now, the Long Beach Rams can clinch a playoff berth. Now, the Raiders, that's the most likely one. But for the Long Beach Rams, if they beat Oakwood and Crypton beats Emerald Hills, then the Long Beach Rams would be the 4th seed. Now, in this scenario, the Long Beach Rams would end up being the 4th seed, and they would travel to Crypton, and Newman and Oakwood would play. Now, Newman would have to go to Oakwood. Oakwood cannot finish lower than Newman. And then, yeah, the three-way tie for 4th place, you guys see it. As long as they tie, Emerald Hills wins and gets the tiebreaker. So those are the playoff scenarios. Again, I think the Long Beach Raiders one is definitely most likely. It's going to be a tough challenge for Long Beach to beat Oakwood. Now, they beat them in the playoffs last year, but Oakwood is a much better team than they were last year, and Emerald Hills is a much worse team than they were last year. So, when we get to Sunday, so tomorrow, the Emerald Hills and Crypton 5-minute thing will be out at 3:45. Again, you guys will see in the video why I'm not stressing about that. And so again, Oakwood Long Beach will be in 3 parts. And again, it was a pretty long game, one of the longest we've ever had. So part 1 will be out at Part 1 will be out at 4 o'clock. Part 2, 4:15. Part 3, 5:30. So as long as you're there at 4:15, the Emerald Hills and the Long Beach Ram and Oakwood game will go, smoothly. It'll just be in 3 parts. You just have to click on 3 different videos. I'm sorry, but that's what it turned out to be. Now, we might also get the Long Beach Raiders in Crossington on Sunday too. If we do, that game would be around 6:30, 7 o'clock. And it seems like Oakwood and Crossington would play on Monday. So again, Newman, Oakwood, Crypton. They've all clinched playoff spots, but the final spot is between Emerald Hills and both Long Beach teams. So, it's exciting. We'll see you guys then.